Hello, this is Ed Rigsby. The reason I've decided to produce this video is I get quite a number of calls from professional speakers, maybe like you, content experts, subject matter experts, consultants, people that want to sell their speaking services to trade associations. So why might I be the person to do this video? Number one, I'm hold the certified speaking professional designation from the National Speakers Association, which I received in the year 2000. And also, which is actually an odd combination, I hold the certified association executive credential from American Society of Association Executives, which I received in 2012. So I'm one of the few folks around, actually probably just a handful of people on the whole planet, that hold both the CSP and the CAE. So it's an interesting combination. Now, I've been selling to trade associations pretty much my whole career. And I'm at the time of this recording, I'm a 30-year member of the National Speakers Association. So I've been doing this for a while. And I'm going to share with you a method for selling your services to associations. It's not the only method by far, but this is a method that works. It may work for you, it may not. The bottom line is I'm going to share with you a little bit about, how to get past the gatekeepers, how to get to the decision makers, and how to sell using the law of reciprocity as part of your tool. Now, here's a challenge. I have found, I do workshops, and this isn't a commercial, but it might sound like it. Anyway, I do workshops, selling to associations intensives in Las Vegas. Do one in the spring and one in the fall. And you can get more information on that if you go to sellingtoassociations.com. There you go. But here's the challenge. For years in working with speakers, the two challenges that keep speakers from being successful in this. Number one is really crummy positioning. And I don't mean to be rude, but a lot of speakers are like, I'm constantly hearing from speakers, oh, but Ed, I'm different. Oh, but Ed, I'm special. My content's different. I'm going to save the world. And well, that's great. But here's the challenge. If you're going to get booked by a trade association or a professional society, you've got to fit into their pigeonholes. I know it sounds terrible. I know you hate, oh, I don't want to be in a pigeonhole. I know, but when I say a pigeonhole, you've got to be able to sell yourself as, okay, I'm a motivational keynote speaker. I'm a entertainment speaker. I'm a speaker on leadership, sales, marketing, supervision, HR, those types of things. Because associations and societies will tend to have meetings and they have speakers in those slots. Now, here's an interesting thing. There's about, on average, 740 association meetings every day in the United States. Now, these are annual meetings, they're expos, they're board meetings, they're leadership meetings, or special meetings for members on leadership or management, those types of things. And not every one of those meetings do they hire speakers. And some of those meetings, they hire several speakers. So the point I want to make is there's tons of business for all of us out there. It's not like, this is a zero-sum game. There's lots of business. But if you're unwilling as a speaker to position yourself in such a way that associations can book you and they know where to put you, you got a problem. Now you got to remember, association people, whether it's a trade association or professional society, I hate to say it, but they're not real entrepreneurial. They're mostly bureaucratic. That's why they went to work for a safe nonprofit. They're not working in the entrepreneurial side, the for-profit side, because I hate for my association friends to see this, but they're not as committed to results. They're a little bit more risk averse, and so as a speaker, what you have to do is you've got to make it easy for them to select you. You've got to make it easy for them to see you as a safe choice. And if you don't position yourself properly, now, within that position yourself properly, I get it. You maybe are different, but let's take just as an example, leadership speaker. There's like a gazillion leadership speakers. Okay. that's fine. And there are lots of slots for leadership speakers. So I'm not trying to diss that topic. But within leadership, what is your unique selling proposition? What's special about you? How are you different than the other 337, speakers that they're looking at? So that's your area to shine. But this positioning thing is huge, and this is where I found that so many speakers fall apart. Number two, the second area where speakers don't do well is I see speakers don't have the resolve, to make the phone calls. Now, the system I'm going to share with you in a couple of minutes, it works if you make the calls. And I have people sometimes that have been through my workshops or been through my sessions call me up a year or 2 or 3 years later. I'm thinking of one person that I was at the Phoenix chapter of the National Speakers Association. This person had been to one of my workshops before, and she called me up after I spoke at her chapter, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, it's just not working for me." I said, "Okay, well, tell me your sales script. Tell me what you're saying." Sales script? She goes, "No, I don't call. I send emails." And I'm like, boom! It's like, that's the whole idea. So if you do not have the resolve to pick up the telephone and make calls, this isn't going to work for you. However, to make your life a little bit easier, I've always been the kind of salesperson that goes after the soft underbelly. I've never been that, your salesman, kind of like the car-like guy or something that just, does the arm twisting, take no prisoners. I'm always looking for the easy, soft way to sell. So this idea I'm going to share with you, it's all about going around the back door. So with that, let's launch into this a little bit. Here's the basic idea. If you are a content expert, then you probably have a book. And if you don't have a book, that's okay. You probably have done several presentations, and you probably either have articles or could write some articles. So number one, you have to have some of your content in article form uploaded to your website, usually about, I would say, a half a dozen to a dozen articles. Most magazine articles are around 700 words, so that's a good start. So if you have, let's say, half dozen articles, somewhere around that 700 words, doesn't have to be exact, but approximately. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to not go to these associations and call the meeting planner. You know why? Because number one, the meeting planner gets 200 calls a day. Number two, a lot of times the meeting planner is just the logistics person. And hey, no disking on meeting planners, but the meeting planners so frequently are simply the logistics person and not the decision maker. So you're spending all your time, going round and round trying to get through to the meeting planner, playing this dance, and they don't even make the decisions. You send them your crap, you send them your whatever, it just goes in the trash. So let's go to the editors. Editors at these trade associations and professional societies, the editors don't get many calls. Really, they don't. So the editors are going to be a lot easier to get through to. So the basic idea is this. Here it is in a nutshell. You have articles. You find editors at trade associations. And I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. I'll tell you about the NTPA, National Trade and Professional Association directory. But you call up the editors, get on the phone with the editor, and you say, "Hi." Like I might say, "Hi, my name is Ed Brixby, and whether I'm going to be trying to sell alliance presentations, because I have 3 books on strategic alliances, or whether I'm going to be trying to sell my member recruitment, my book on member ROI, had to show that. I'll talk about, let's just say I'm going to do the member ROI thing. So I might say to the editor, "Hi, my name is Ed Brixby. I'm the author of the ROI membership, today's missing link for explosive growth." And a lot of times I'll call societies of association executives with this one. And I go, "I've got several articles adapted from the book that I'd like to make available to you to use in your magazine, either printed or online electronic." And then I go and I talk about some of the challenges that I know that their members have. And, do your members have this challenge, this challenge? And they go, yeah, sure they do. And then I say to the editor, well, why don't you go, and I have them go to my website on to my article bank. I call it an article bank. And then I ask them to bookmark it and go, and I tell them, here's a couple articles, this article, this article, and this article will help your members to solve these problems. And, and I tell them, I have at the bottom of each of the articles is permission to reprint. And I also give editors permission to edit because, okay, let's just take a little side note here. So many speakers have told me, well, I'm not going to let them edit my material. Get over it. Okay? I've been doing this for 30 years. I have never, ever had an editor make me look bad. You know what I have had, though? I've had a bunch of editors make me look a heck of a lot smarter than I am. I've had a bunch of editors edit my articles, and I look, and they send them to me, is this okay? And I look at them, oh my God, that's far better than what I wrote. So get over that. I give them permission to, because here's the thing. I want to be the easiest guy in town to work with. I want to have my articles at my website, and they're there 24/7. So an editor, and I can talk to an editor and say, when you're under deadline, and I tell them, editor, usually I'll joke with them a little bit and say, if you have a situation where a member or somebody committed an article and they don't follow through, and then the editor's kind of giggling, yeah, that hasn't happened since yesterday. I want you to have access to my articles. They're evergreen. They're available to fill in the gaps. And so I'm having a conversation with this editor. What I'm doing is I'm making what I call in my books on alliances, relationship bank deposits. I'm trying to, or if you read Robert Rinaldi's book Influence, he talks about the law of reciprocity. So I'm making these relationship bank deposits. I'm using the law of reciprocity. I'm giving them my content that they can use, and then I use what's basically in the sales game for years has been called the doorknob close, and that's right at the end. When everybody's relaxed and people have their guard down, that's when you get to the real selling. And so with the editor, what I'll say to them, after we've had a chit chat and we've had when I see the conversations coming to a close, I'll say, oh, by the way, before I let you go, would you mind answering a question for me? Well, I've just given her a bunch of articles. I've just been, building relationships 99% of the time. You can say, well, sure. Well, here's my question. Could you tell me, please, who is it that decides on speakers at your meetings? Every once in a while, I'm lucky and the editor says, well, I'm the one, but that doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does. They'll say, well, Sally Jones is our meeting planner. And then I say politely, I said, well, let me ask this. Is Sally Jones the decision maker on selecting speakers, or Sally Jones the logistics person? And sometimes they'll say, well, no, Sally makes the decisions on speakers. Or they might say, well, no, really, it's Bill Robinson. Bill is our executive director, or maybe our COO or something like that. He's really the one that makes the decisions. You go, oh, that's really helpful, thank you. And I go, just the last thing before we part, could you connect me with Bill Robinson? Usually the editor's going to say, fine. They'll connect you over. Now, what have I just done? I've just beaten their system. I've gotten around the meeting planner, who doesn't make the decisions anyway. I found who the person is that I need to sell to, and now I've had the editor connect me to that person. Now, if I just get Bill Robinson's voicemail, I'll say, Bill, my name is Ed Brigsby. I was just talking with Jane, your editor. I gave her a number of articles adapted from my book titled Yada, Yada, Yada. We were talking about your members having these challenges. I was hoping that you could give me a little bit of information as far as your process for looking at and selecting speakers for your meetings. If you want to, if you wouldn't mind giving me a call back, here's my number. And then I'll say, and if I don't hear from you in a couple of days, I'll give you another call. Okay, that's fine. And then I put that information into my database. Whatever customer relationship management system you use, it's great. And if I do get to talk to them, the same basic thing, I say, Bill, I was just talking to Jane, and we were talking about this problem, this problem, this problem. He goes, oh yeah, that our members are having these problems. And I said, well, could you help me out? I'd like to know what your system is, what your method is, your process, whatever you like to use, for selecting speakers for your meetings. And then this person, will start telling me, start explaining to me, And Bill might say to me, well, you're in luck. We're just starting the process. And he'll say, do this, this, this. Or he might say, well, why don't you get back with me in 6 months or 6 weeks or whatever. Again, put that in your database and put your, your teasers in or your alarms, whatever you have, and then start selling. But see, rather than beating your head against the wall, calling the meeting planner, almost never getting through because they get a million calls, and then wasting your time with the meeting planner if they aren't the decision maker, it's frustrating as heck. And we as professional speakers only have so much time because we're building content, we're out speaking, we're traveling, we got a lot to do. And so why waste our time? So by just, if you were to make, let's just say 5 calls a day, 10 calls a day, if you were persistent enough, if you would have the resolve to do this, well, you'd be amazed at what would happen. And then naturally, just like any selling, you've got to follow up. But that is so much better than probably the way you've been doing it. Now, I mentioned I would talk to you about, this thing wastes of time. This is I'll put this so you can read it, National and Trade Associations, I can't even read, National Trade and Professional Associations in the United States. This is produced, what a time. This is produced by Columbia. Your library usually has this book in the resource section. Actually, I recommend to speakers that love my program, buy a used copy from Amazon. Even if it's 5 years old, it doesn't matter. Most of the information is the same. But here's the cool thing. In this directory, and let me see, here it is. Okay, not there. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second. It's coming. It's coming. This is really, really valuable. So it's worth a couple seconds wait. In the directory, this is called, I'm going to put this up. Whoa, subject index. Now this is gold. Okay, this is gold. If you just watch from here on, here's what you want to do. That subject index in the NTPA has a little over 400 subjects. And what subjects means, it's the kind of associations. So if a subject might be distribution associations, a subject might be manufacturing associations, a subject might be finance or banking associations or marketing associations, or if you're in the medical field or a host of things. So what you want to do, you want to look at, okay, ask yourself, where have you been the most successful? What industries have really resonated with your content, and where you might have a modicum of celebrity, where people might know you. Go in that, find that subject in the index directory, and whatever you want to do. I mean, if you go to a library and you look at the book and you don't want to buy the book, spend a couple quarters and photocopy those 2 or 3 pages. Some of the indexes will have 20 associations, some will have 200 associations. So you photocopy it, and now you've got your prospect list. And you just go into Google, go to the association website. Usually in About or in Contact Us, you can find the staff list. Find out generally the editor in the association might be the director of communications, or it might be editor. And then get a hold of this person. And this way, you have a focused approach. Now, once you've exhausted that subject, okay, great, pick another one. But what you don't want to do is just randomly go all over the place, because then you're not building anything. But if you stick with a particular index industry, so to speak, that really resonates with you, well, you're building something. Little at a time, little at a time. So this is really, it's crazy simple to understand, and I can't believe how many speakers will call me, and I'll spend a half hour on the phone and I'll explain this whole thing, and they go, "Oh man, that's really easy." Go, yeah, it's simple. But here's the thing, I will tell you, a few give me calls a year, 2 years later saying, "Hey, I did this and this really worked," and a lot are just, they don't have the resolve. One of the things that I've learned I mean, I'm just going to admit this straight out. I know that I'm not the smartest speaker out there. I know that I'm not the best speaker out there. But here's what I do know. I'm one of the most persistent. I've been in this business for 30 years. And I just grind my way through it. I just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. There's a lot of people out there that I've met in this business that are much brighter than me, much better speakers than me. Couldn't make a business out of it, couldn't make it work for them. They went back to selling insurance or doing whatever they did. And I just will tell you that it isn't hard. It just takes persistence. Do you have the willpower? Can you make the choice? Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 3 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day, whatever. Don't try to do 50 a day, because then you're just going to burn yourself out. This is the long game. This is not like, I don't want you to be like a 110 light bulb hooked up to 220 voltage and shine really bright for 30 seconds and burn out. I'd rather you take the long game. Do 3, 5, 10 a day. Stop. That's it. And you'll be amazed. I find whenever my business starts getting a little slow, if I get on the phone, my business starts picking up. It's a simple game. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you. And I really hope that you'll do this. And, I'll throw a couple second commercial here in the end. I would love for you to, number one, subscribe to my YouTube channel, help me out. I'm trying to grow it. And number two, I would love for you, if you think it's appropriate, to attend one of my Selling to Association intensives in Las Vegas. I do one in the spring. I do one in the fall. At the time of this recording, I'm doing them at the Mirage. I mean, down the road, I might pick a different hotel, but that's a good place. And it's small. I only let 8 people in to each session. We do it in a suite rather than a meeting room. It's very very cozy, and people really build relationships with one another. Also, if that doesn't work for you, and let's say the time doesn't work for you, I also offer a retreat at my home. So you can go to sellingtoassociations.com, click on the private retreat or private intensive, and you come to my house and we spend a day and we go all through this. So there's some great options there, and I wanted to just explain to you how to do this, and I would suggest, if you're willing to make the commitment, just go do it. Okay, thanks so much for watching this video. Have a phenomenal day, and go make some calls.